Echa, José, y esa barba.
None. How do I do none? There we go. All right, awesome. So perfect. Let me share my screen. We're gonna hit the ground running with this one today because we have several things to cover. Finder, count. So it's gonna be all right. How did everybody do with their outlines?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Hold on one second. Okay. So I'm going to show you a little bit about how HubSpot uses blogging to rank #1 on Google. And we will review this slide deck here. Whoops, no. Swap displays. There we go. Now I can see the displays right here. All right, cool. So just the things that I want to put into context what we were discussing yesterday in regards to the content that we're currently developing. And I wanted to show you a case study from HubSpot itself. So how do they do it? The #1 source of traffic for HubSpot is blogging. Most of their actual people visiting on their website comes from the searches that they do to find their blog posts. So it's really meant to help everybody who's trying to rank in search. So blogging on relevant topics is going to help you build relevance so that you rank more on many search queries. Helps you build authority so that you rank higher on search engines. And every new blog post is one more indexed page on your website. So you notice that when we were doing the audit, some pages had a lot more content than others. Some companies had a lot more content than others. And the more content you have, is the more real estate that you actually own at any given point online.
Mm-hmm.
So people naturally want to share blog posts on social media. It's typically how a lot of the content on the blog itself gets promoted. And social media, anywhere from Facebook to now TikTok to now Instagram as well, you're able to share these different elements to be able to really bring more attention to the blog post itself. So some tactics that have led HubSpot's biggest SEO improvements has been building topical relevance, which is what we spoke about in the previous classes, historical optimization, and optimizing the featured snippets on Google itself. So we're going to go into each of these. The first one is building topical relevance. So like we were talking about the last 2 days, keywords are topics. So fragmented keyword searches like healthy dog food, best free ringtones, marketing jobs, curly hair products don't necessarily mean that they're gonna work, but the system for Google, not that it won't work, but it just, Google is reading these individual fragmented keyword queries on the search engine itself. And then it's also understanding even more complex queries, which are, where should I go for summer vacation in India? Foods that have caffeine that are not beverages. These search engines are becoming smart enough to recognize the connections across different types of search queries. So an example of this is when you start typing into Google, it'll actually start giving you examples of what may be related to what you're typing into, right? So building topical relevance means creating content across multiple topics, not necessarily keywords. So what we were talking about yesterday about using 2 to 4 keyword phrases combined creates a topic, right? So a keyword is one word or phrase that someone uses to describe what they need in search. And a topic is a group of keywords. So keywords, writing skills, blog post topics, content creation tools, brainstorming techniques. But the topic here is content marketing, right? That's the main point of these keywords that we use. So to build topical relevance, we need to figure out which topics you want to be known for. Let's say dog food. Publish lots of blog posts to answer every question about those topics that your content may have. So dog nutrition, how to take care of my dog, what to do if my dog eats chocolate. And then you have to link these blog posts to one another, right? So this is how HubSpot built their topical relevance. They've evolved their content along with all the search engines. So they've gone ahead and really built a topical relevance around topics that they didn't even have a product for yet. At one point, HubSpot had an idea to build a software for customer feedback. And although they hadn't built it yet, what they started doing is building content around it. So, or in the beginning, they decided to build a customer software. Then they started really building the topical relevance for the customer service topics. And then a little over a year, they launched the customer software. So they were doing it way earlier than expected before the actual software was ready. So when they started, they weren't ranking for anything. They're lower than position number 500 for the target topics. And using blogging, they captured the spot on the first page for Google 5 out of the 10 target topics that they were going after. So how did they do this? They went in and identified the topics that they wanted to be known for, right? Bottom of the funnel, typically bottom of the funnel topics. Their topics were customer feedback software and help desk software. Then they also identified elements for middle of the funnel, which are going to include customer feedback and then customer satisfaction surveys and NPS. So they prioritized which of these topics they wanted to rank for, and then where they wanted to rank in the search engines and by when. So they created SMART goals essentially. They chose customer feedback as their main topic that they wanted to go after, and then they built a product page for the upcoming product. When they built a product page for the upcoming product, they actually announced it, but they did not put much content on it, except for the fact that they were able to collect emails ahead of time so that people that were interested and coming out for that topic or looking for that topic, they would find that and fill out the information ahead of time so that they would start building a base of people early on. So essentially getting notified when it's ready. Then they wrote a long canonical piece, what we've been looking at, right? Building a pillar page, which is the outline that we did yesterday. And in building that pillar page, they called it Customer Feedback Strategy, the only guide you'll ever need. They tied that piece to the customer feedback actual page, and then they broke down the target topics into questions. So questions about customer feedback. How should I go about asking for feedback from customers? How can I improve my customer feedback survey? How do I measure customer satisfaction? What should I do with the customer feedback I get on social media? So all these turned into blog posts. All the questions that their customers may have had, they turned into blog posts, and they turned every one of those questions into the blog post, and they linked them back to the pillar page itself. So pro tip, you should add linkable hooks to your post, original charts and images, unique data and research, quotes from industry experts, pros and cons tables. Any of those can help you convert. And in addition, they had an outreach strategy. So they identified blogs and communities relevant to the topics and reached out to them using link building tactics, which we are going to review in the next section of the class itself. So the product page ended up ranking number 3 on page 1 of our target copy. So here's the position that they ended up getting over here on the third position. Obviously, the first section here, let me actually use I'm going to use this cool little tool, a pointer. Where's the pointer? Pointer. Spotlight. Here. Can you guys see that? The pointer? I don't know how I did it. All right, never mind. But, no. There it goes. Back to present. All right. And then the pillar page ended up ranking position number 2 on page 1 of the target topic, right? But they also went and moved past short-term thinking, and they built really a thoughtful strategy, a strategy that was surrounded by more advanced optimization. So they went ahead and started optimizing for featured snippets. Featured snippets are this is an example of a featured snippet right here. The featured snippet is something that Google considers the most relevant piece of content for that particular search term in that given time, right? So that featured snippet happens to be somebody that has been around for quite a bit and has a lot of links built to that page. And you can actually request or let Google know that you are the answer to a specific question, or the answer or the most relevant information in the customer feedback keyword or topic that's being targeted. And we'll show you that on the next few slides.
But una pregunta.
Go for it.
What are Google's requirements for that? Like, there's any way that, porque ¿quién tiene la verdad?
¿Quién qué?
Tiene la verdad. Like, you cannot tell if someone's having like the actual truth about something. Como, how do Google decides that?
I mean, that's their kind of secret sauce, but I can tell you what we can do to get it, the combination of it's really instructions on the code of your website that's telling Google that, hey, you should consider this for a featured snippet. It doesn't mean that you're going to get it. You're going to have to optimize it for a set of topics. But you can follow best practices according to what Google says, right? So that's what we do. We kind of check off the boxes, making sure that we do everything on the coding side that will enable this to happen. Cool, makes sense. So this is a featured snippet to what I was talking earlier about. So featured snippets actually rank above the number 1 position, right? So the number 1 position organically typically shows under the ads, but the actual featured snippet for any query comes up above those search results, and it's shown higher than anything else. So this is an example of the featured snippet up here, and it's pulled from the actual number 2 spot, right? In this case. So content that isn't in the number 1 spot can actually appear above the number 1 spot on Google searches that have featured snippets shown in the search results. So 3 reasons to care about featured snippets. They show up up for a lot of terms you target for the customers that you're searching for. They often show up first on voice search results as well. So if you are preparing for the future, which is here, right? Voice search, using Siri, using Google, this is an opportunity for you to come up on those search results. 71% of search queries triggered feature snippets on desktop and led to a feature snippet result showing up on the first in voice search as well. So that came from Moz. And lastly, or third, they need an effective strategy for capturing how customers are changing the way they search. So featured snippets will help you adapt to this particular change, right? So we're going to talk about how to optimize the featured snippet. So Jose, you asked about how we do it. So optimizing a post that already ranked number 1 through 5. So we're going to identify the blog posts that currently rank in those positions 1 through 5 and estimate which keywords they're ranking for, right? So we're going to look at what the title is and what the keyword is that is ranking for those individuals. And then we're going to see if the feature snippet appears in search inside for those keywords. So we'll do a quick search and see if the feature snippet comes up. Then we're going to optimize the post for the featured snippet itself. So format is critical when optimizing for the featured snippet. List-based feature snippet. So this is an example of a way that it shows up when you're asking a question similar to a how to motivate your sales teams. The ones that work effectively, or the feature snippets that work the most effectively, are list-based feature snippets for those. So you're going to add a short list to the top of your post, similar to this right here. So imagine so that you come up for a listing featured snippet. So there's a paragraph featured snippet as well. So instead of having a list, right, Facebook cover dimensions, it'll give you an answer that's related to exactly what you're asking for. If someone typing in Facebook cover dimensions, the best way is to actually give them the instructions for that search term, right? And you give it to them right in that paragraph. The way that you do that is you add a short paragraph at the top of the post answering that exact question. Same way. Then submit your URLs to be recrawled. So you can literally search submit URL on Google, and you can resubmit these URLs. Once you've made those changes to the page, you can submit those URLs to Google once again. And then measure results every day over 4 weeks. So we're going to go into how HubSpot optimizes for featured snippets. Someone else in the featured snippet, and then HubSpot in number 1 position, right? In this case, Copy Blogger was coming out number 1 for a featured snippet, and HubSpot wanted that spot. So they're showing up a lot more. Feature snippets are coming up on a lot of different searches, and what they did was gather a list of all search queries for HubSpot.com that rank between 1 and 5 and the search results. And then they tested whether the feature snippet appeared in search for those queries. So 29% had a featured snippet and 71% didn't have a featured snippet. So unlinked definition box. So this is the definition for lead generation, right? But it has no link to any authoritative source. That means Google is giving that definition by wherever it's searching from, and not giving attribution to any actual website on itself. So they looked at which websites own those featured snippets and what content of the featured snippets were actually featured. So they found out that 33% of the pages where HubSpot ranked 1 through 5 on page 1 of Google. They only appeared 33% of the time as a featured snippet. So does clean formatting of the headers in the post cause you to win the list-based featured snippets? Google can pull list snippets from the actual headers. So instead of having the ability or having the list on top, Google can actually extract the information from the H tags on your site. So when you're building a website, there's an area where you can actually determine or give a name to the different headings that on the different subjects that you're talking about. So having an organized heading system will allow you to actually come up on the featured snippets just as well as putting up a list on the top of the post as well. So this is an example. This is the H2 snippet, strategies to motivate your sales team, and H3s as the list items in the snippet. So this is H2, this is H3. Do you understand, do all of you understand what H1s and H2s are? Or an example of what it is? Okay, so when you are, I'll give you an example. It's coding.
Table of content or something like that. And
It's headings, no?
Yeah, headings. They're headings. So like when you're, I'll give you an example on Microsoft Word. Yeah, continue. All right, let me see. Okay, I'll show you an example on this, right? So I can turn this into a different size actual heading here by let me show you here in the home, and we're gonna go into, I don't know if I can do this on here. No, I don't think you can do this on Microsoft Word. All right, let me show you on another platform, because Google is magical, because I feel like Google has the way to be able to
that you can use in Word, but
you can use Word, but it doesn't have the meaning. All right, so here in the paragraph styles, when you're looking at the paragraph style, you can have normal text, title, which shows bigger, heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. It's a way to organize and the look and feel of the actual content. So you can have like heading 2 will be like, the main topic. Heading 3 will be like the answer to or like a point that you're trying to make for that main topic. So when you're building websites, there are typically places where you can determine, or you can say, okay, this is heading 1, this is heading 2, this is heading 3, in the same way that you're organizing the content. You're also telling the search engines how your content is organized itself. And an example, let me show you on what it looks like on like a builder of this. I hope I'm logged into the account. If not, I'm gonna have to go. Well, I can do this one. This is published. Where can I show you this? So let's see, meta description. There's an area here we go. So this one has one single H1 tag, and this will tell you, okay, you need to edit this, and you can call this here. This is the H1 tag for this particular page, but you can designate this as a H2 tag and then like lower the actual ranking of that header on the page. So it's usually by order of importance, right? The H1 is the highest, most important. H2 is the second most important. H3 is the third most important topic that you're trying to cover on a page. And you can edit it. Typically, you can edit it just like this, like here. You designated this particular area the H1 tag. And you can do it like on a WYSIWYG here. Here, I'll give you an example. See how this is designated H1 over here? I can choose to make this an H2. And it'll actually make it smaller if I do that. This is a live page, so I'm not going to save anything. I don't want to mess up this client's landing page. And I'll send you more resources on the actual H tags there. All right, so I'm gonna keep going on this one. Play from start. Let me see what time it is. Okay. Escape. Don't worry. I know it's a lot of content. All right. Okay, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then we're gonna come back and finish the formats. How do you guys feel?
My brain is processing.
I'll share with you all the lists. Don't worry, all the presentations as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I know it's a lot, especially I figured you're gonna need it anyways because you gotta think about it when you're putting together these campaigns. And this is a little bit more advanced SEO than normally, but I think once you understand it, you'll be able to function very well and perform like anywhere.
And it's good to know.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah. Let me put 5 minutes on the timer.
Okay.
Alarm, edit time, stopwatch. Nope. All right. Go for it. Break time.
Just in time.
And we're back. All right. All right. Here we go. Okay, so format does matters. Google wasn't able to, well, why didn't it work? Google wasn't able to identify numbers in a header as a list item, some of them. So formatting impact, does formatting impact what's pulled into the snippets? So HubSpot identified 62 high traffic blog posts that they were ranking in #1 position, 1 through 6 in each search. And for a search query that had a featured snippet in the results that we did not own yet. So they split this into 2 groups. One into proper formatting. So H1 overall title page, H2 the subheader, and H3 list items is what they did. Many of these posts didn't have an H2, so they added one in, is what they did. So they changed 1 comma to 1 dot as well. So they did not add any content to these posts. And the control group, one had 0 to 5% win rate. The experiment group had 10 to 15% win rate. They submitted the experiment group the URLs to Google for recrawling and measured the results daily for 10 days. And this is what happened. So what they did was actually go in and look at all their old blogs and really optimize them for the snippet, making sure that they kept an eye on how they were doing at any given point. So why is historical optimization a key to SEO? So making a few key changes to old blog posts could dramatically improve the rank, especially after this experiment that they ran. So historical optimization works best for blogs that have already been around for several years. Some of you may not have this, but if you may run across a client that has had an active presence for a long time, and this is an opportunity to help them improve SEO very quickly. So historical optimization is optimizing your old blog posts so that they are fresh and up to date and can rank higher on the search engines. So the goal is to improve the search rankings for blog posts that have page 1 potential, right? So those that are ranking on page 2 or 3. So why does updating and republishing old blog content lead to better search rankings? So Google rewards freshness, and so do people who search. You're building off the existing search authority that the post has already accumulated as well. And a surge of new visits will naturally lead to new links and social shares. So it should really be a piece of the strategy, not the whole strategy, but a piece of what we're talking about, the content strategy, right? Looking back at the old that you already have and making sure that you optimize it. So this is how we're going to get started with historical optimization. Identify the blog posts worth updating, posts that are outdated or could be improved, posts that have a potential to rank higher for topics and keywords with high search volume as well. So just simply doing a quick analysis of what is available, you can easily identify that 3 and 2, blog posts 4 and 5 have a chance to getting up there, right? Especially based on the topic, how much search volume that topic has on Google. So using the Google keyword tool that we used yesterday to identify which keywords are valuable, which have the most search volume. And you can pick the one that has the most search volume to tackle first. So then you have to update the content of the blog post so that you can achieve 3 goals: accuracy, freshness, and comprehensiveness, right? Adding new sections can make it more comprehensive. Adding list items to a list post, adding detail, or updating outdated information like statistics and examples. And then optimize the post for your target topic using on-page SEO tactics. And I sent you earlier today an email with our checklist and then also the buyer's journey document that we use from HubSpot as well. Both of those are critical to being able to use it. Did you guys receive it today? You did, right? Most of you?
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So those should help you get a better grasp on the optimization of on-page tactics. So consider adding an editor's note or some kind of update, letting individuals know that this was updated on a certain date. And then it's been updated for freshness, accuracy, and comprehensiveness. Often seen in newspapers as well, like the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal, they update their old content as well, and they notify their readers that it's been updated for the most accurate information. And then publish your updated post as new and re-promote it again as well.
Right,
so, go for it.
Where do we submit the URL after we do that?
Say again?
Where do we submit the URL before after we do that?
Where do you submit it? I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link. It's on Google. You submit it on Google Search Console. It's one of the tools that we spoke about yesterday.
Okay.
You can hit recrawl your site, but I'll send you a link with instructions on it after the class.
Gracias.
All right. How does HubSpot, right? How do they do it? So they've been able to get away with more value from the blog content that they published in the past. They increased their leads 2 times, and they grew organic traffic 106 times from the old posts that they optimized. Views from new posts 24%, views from old posts 76%. Old means published before the current month, right? So overview of what they did: they pulled their top blog posts for organic traffic. They used keyword research to make an educated guess on which keywords these posts would be ranking for. Then they started updating and republishing a few posts per week, and then measured the success using organic traffic as a main key performance indicator. They were looking at how many people were arriving on their website on a daily basis as well. And this is a messed up chart. That's supposed to show you the numbers, but I don't know what happened there in the conversion. I'm gonna have to look at that chart later. So they now update 2 to 3 posts per week because they saw so much increase in traffic and conversions as well. So do some additional on-page SEO for some of your newer old posts without republishing them as new or doing any promotion. It'll help, right? Just go back on your website and make sure that you have all your SEO checklist checked off as much as possible. All right, so that was how HubSpot did it. So this is going to be a dive into extending the value of your content in using repurposing. So this is going to give you an idea of how or what content you can use. Why does this move? You can use to really not lose any of the old content that you may have, but actually leverage content that you've already built or designed or written for other formats and reuse that as a different format, right? So a video can become a blog can become a video, a checklist can become, a pillar page. Let's go right into this one. So extending the value, some benefits of repurposing content, right? 50% of B2B marketers have an issue creating content on an ongoing basis. Obviously, yesterday we've been outlining our pillar content, and we understand that it can be a difficult task to constantly create new content. So here, many other marketers have the same problem. And they understand it. So this quote, right? You don't have to create the content day in and day out. You just have to work on getting the content you already have in the hands of more people, right? And the way that you do that is really by repurposing a lot of the content you've already created. So it really gives you another opportunity to rank on search engine result pages. You know, content is a theme that can be showcased in many different formats, as I mentioned earlier. It allows you to reach a new audience. So what we're doing here, right, this content strategy is not only for one format. We are focused on the foundation, which is blogs and web pages and the website of the clients, but in actuality can be leveraged to be able to reach broader audiences by leveraging other media, right? And anywhere they search, right? YouTube is the second largest search engine, right? Most people use YouTube as second to Google. Then it also supports the consistency of your message throughout. So just a note here, the rule of 7, a prospect needs to see or hear your marketing message at least 7 times before they take action or buy from you. So the more different mediums that you use to spread the content, the more chances you will have of reaching that individual there. And lastly, it helps your content marketing team create content on a more consistent basis, which is the probably the most important piece. So I'll give you an example of our own republishing that we've done. Our podcast, the Content Compass that I shared with you, right, last week. That Content Compass for us right now, it is the biggest driver of leads, second to a guide that I wrote like 3 years ago on how to grow a law firm. But that Content Compass, there's a video about the Content Compass. There is a podcast about the Content Compass, a blog post about the Content Compass. There is like a Instagram post about the Content Compass. You name it, we've tried to reuse the Content Compass idea in a multitude of different ways. So here are some ideas of how do we republish our content, right? 20% of HubSpot content accounts for 93% of the leads. Content republishing is the act of reposting your content, mainly blog posts, on other websites with proper credit given to the original author. So republishing best practices. We strive to choose reputable sites to partner with. So websites that have higher domain authority will give you a stronger lift in search engine rankings. Don't republish all your content, just the top performing content that you have. So I'm working on an article for Marketing Profs, which is a reiteration or a new version of my Content Compass blog post that I wrote for our own website, and I'm going to republish it back into Marketing Profs in order to drive more traffic because they have a big audience, right? So some of the content that you can have your content republished on sites like Forbes, Huffington Post, or the Business Insider. Those are big name places that you can leverage. But remember to update the headline for each republished piece of content. So Ryan Battles, he alters the headline for every article in order to differ from the original blog post. So Ryan Battles' original post is finding your customers' pain points. On LinkedIn is nailing your audience's pain points, right? For Entrepreneur, he used the same name, but for Copy Tactics, how to find your customers' pain points. And then for another one, Mastering the Webinar, a cheat sheet for nailing your next digital, whatever it was, right? Didn't finish it there. But remember to really focus on making sure that you create new headlines for these individual republishings. And then wait at least 2 weeks before you republish your content from the original. Include links throughout your republished post. So make sure that you link back to your own website or whatever you're trying to promote as well. And lastly, include a call to action within your blog post as much as you can. So this is an example. Battle uses a hierarchy of helpful calls to action, where he uses one over here, and then he uses another one over here in order to close as many opportunities as he can with the individual. So this is how to repurpose content. We just went through how to republish it. Repurposing steps are 3 steps: adjust, combine, and expand. So adjust what needs to be added, removed, or reworded. Combine, you may be able to combine multiple posts, or you can expand. There may be an opportunity to expand on something that you've already done so that you can dig deeper into a topic. So think of the actual information that you're outputting as the roots, the foundational sites, and then you're going to start building or growing into the trunk, which is going to be the actual additional medias that you choose. And then lastly, the crown, which is all the different smaller bits of information that you're going to spread from this one piece of content. So short form content at the bottom, long form content as the trunk, and repurposed long form content at the top with the crown there. So we're not going to create content just to create content. The idea is to really help us understand how to plant seeds and help these seeds grow consistently. So I'm going to show you an example of a fellow HubSpot professor. He actually was the one that created this presentation section. He has a website of living in a van, right? He has a truck that he ended up turning into a camper so that he can go out on the weekends with his wife. So him and his wife decided to repurpose George, which is his truck that he has, into a camper. And so he identified content format first on the topic, which is the seed, right, for the tree that he wants to produce. And then he makes a list of supporting subtopics, just the same as we did yesterday. Then he needs to grow strong, right? He needs the roots. So then he chose the strongest supporting subtopics by just picking the ones that were the strongest. And what he did is to really try to understand and look into what is going to be the most purposeful that fits into the piece of content that you're putting together. So he went ahead and removed some of the subtopics that did not make sense in there. By removing them, he made it actually stronger. So then he went ahead and created the content for each supporting subtopic, much as we are planning to do there as well. He updated, one of the things that he did while he was doing the update to this repurposed content is went in ahead on Instagram, he was sharing posts talking about the changes that were happening to his particular truck, what his whole progress looked like, so that people started understanding a little bit better through the images what was happening, and he shared the progress there. All right. Oh, there we go. Did that happen? Hold on, lost it there for a second. All right. So when doing research for the content you're creating, you can jot down interesting things that you think would be valuable to share via your social channels. In his case, he decided to share that progress. Then he wrote a blog post about each subtopic that they talked about, right? Everything from the bulkhead, the floor, the tailgates, everything that he did, he wrote a subtopic for, and he repurposed the blog content into a video series. So he created a video series out of the blogs that he had written about his experience there as well. And this is weatherizing a truck cap. This is the keyword that he was going after, and these are the results. So he's actually the #1 result for this particular search term. And he's also in the first one in the videos that come out as well. And there he is again on the organic results, how to weatherize your truck cap, material list by Wild We Wonder. Download or create a template for your guide, which is what we spoke about yesterday as well. This is the free ebook library that we spoke about yesterday. This is with 18 free ebook templates, which you'll have the link in the presentation so you guys can do it. And then you're going to recycle the blog content and format into chapters. So if you're looking for a way to set yourself up for content that can be easily expanded, consider using bullet points and bulleted lists in the original piece that you create, so it's easier for you to reformat it into different chapters later on as well. So those are the 7 steps. The 7th step, create the rest of the content needed to complete your guide as much as possible. And once you launch the offer, you can go back and insert calls to action into the system itself. And with that, I'm going to take a 5-minute break. What do you guys think about this one?
There's a lot of ways that you can like expand the content if you think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Sobre todo video, blog post, Instagram, everything.
Yeah.
Sí, pero ahí tú, o sea, tú tienes que tener muy claro como que lo que tú quieres contar, ¿no?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pero sí, está muy interesante, me llama mucho la atención. La verdad.
Yeah.
I have a new project in mind.
Good. Good. Yeah. So, yeah, I was thinking, while I was talking about this, I was thinking about like, for each of you, you could have your own, like, area where, like, you're talking about your experience as an entrepreneur, right? I mean, that could be like an entire pillar page.
Yeah.
And videos and social media posts and all kinds of things. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. Okay, 5 minutes, water, juice.
Okay.
Hey.
I'll be here if you have questions. All right. We're back. Okay. And so we're going to start talking about, once we have the content offer, we need to really start thinking about how we can recycle this, as I mentioned earlier, because there's more opportunities for us to continue the growth, right? But we got to think about how else might the content be consumed? How else is someone going to take a look at it, right? So it could be Instagram posts, video posts, blog posts, as I was mentioning, the guide itself. But we have to review how we could branch out this content into new formats. So from the guide, it could be a slide deck. So you can spread the guide on, we have a presentation that we published to SlideShare, which is now like a LinkedIn platform where you can share your presentations. You could do digital training from it. So if you have a guide, you can turn that into a digital training for this particular, whatever it is that you're writing, like this content strategy marketing course that you are currently in, right? It is a version of a previous guides and knowledge that we've constructed over the last 5 years. It could be an infographic. It could be an email series. It could be a podcast, right? So you can recycle it to many things, but you can even do a checklist, right? Like our SEO checklist came from our whole process of going over and over again, optimizing websites and realizing that, okay, we do the same things over and over again. Why don't we just put them all in a piece of paper with little boxes so that people can go ahead. And I can't unmute you, by the way, Jose. I know you have a question. You raised your hand. Jose?
No, it was earlier, pero ya la pregunté.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool. All right. So I did a checklist in this situation. So yeah, you can start small and then grow big. And that was lesson number 7, right? Yeah, 7. And yes, we're going to go into how to create a successful video marketing strategy. Since the content that we're looking at could be repurposed as video as well. And there are some pretty cool tools out there to really use video and leverage video for your for any situation that you may have. So there we go. So we're going to learn how to create successful video marketing strategy here. Why should we create engaging videos? So in 2018, 87% of online marketers used video. It's really used as a business strategy across the board. Everything from marketing to sales to service and customers. We've seen video used for a multitude of purposes. It helps you attract, engage, and delight your audience in a really human way and helpful way. I use it personally in sales. I send out a personalized video to all my prospects when they either they download an ebook or they reach out to us on the Contact Us form. I send them like a 30-second video introducing myself, letting them know that I'm available to help, and that they can book a meeting with me later on. And I get, for the most part, when I do prospecting via video, I get 20% response versus cold calling. So I never told you, but when I first got into business, I learned how to cold call. I used to work at a bank, so they forced us to call all day. So I come from sales background for the most part, and I've noticed that when you're using video, people respond a lot better, right? They see the human emotion that you're trying to get out in your words, that it's lost sometimes in written content. So video can really help you organize. Some stats from HubSpot: 50% of consumers want to see video from brands. So why you should create engaging videos, right? Video content creates trust. 90% of customers say video helps them make buying decisions. 64% of customers say that seeing a video makes them more likely to buy. 62% of consumers are more likely to have a negative perception of a brand that published a low quality video. Videos that are optimized correctly can improve search engine optimization as well. So adding video to your website can increase the chance of a front page Google result by 53 times. So make sure you include video in your guide. Bounce rate. So bounce rate is the percentage of people who land on your website's page then leave immediately. And it ends up lowering your bounce rate when you have a video. We've added multitude of videos on our blog posts that we've written in the past, and we've noticed that people stay on longer. Some people don't like to read. A lot of people don't like to read, but they prefer watching a video or listening to something. So they stay longer on the web page because there's a video on there. So this is an example of a #1 Google ranking, right? The images, the video, and here's the #1 position, but he's also here in the video itself. And there's the video on the top of his of that page. So his #1 position is helped by the fact that he published the video to YouTube as well over here. The majority of people who visit your site, 79% to be exact, would rather watch a video to learn than to read text on the page. I just said that. This is like the actual statistic. So YouTube videos rank near the top of search engine results pages. Google offers more than just listings to website content. They offer options like image and video search, right? These two sections over here on the search results page. And this is the example, right? Over here, his video is actually tied back to his website as well. So his video is actually helping this website page rank as well. It's sending the search result, the #1 video result is helping his #1 position on the actual like written portion of the result as well. A lot of video content is constantly being published online. 216 hours of video content was uploaded to YouTube in a very short period. I think it's a minute. That's in the time that you watch this video. Yeah, it's like a minute. How to use video throughout the inbound methodology. So for the inbound methodology, we follow attract, engage, and delight. And in the attract phase and the engage phase and the delight phase, we use video in many ways. In the attract phase, we consumers at this point are identifying their challenges. They're trying to figure out what their actual problem is. So short videos that show off your brand's personality, thought leadership videos that establish you as a source of industry news and insight, brand films that share your values and your mission, educational how-to videos that provide relevant tips for solving your audience's pain points or challenges. Avoid speaking too much about the product itself. Try to stick to resolving or helping the end user resolve their problem. In the engage stage, they're meant to convert your visitors into leads and ultimately close them into customers, right? So a webinar filled with tactical advice, product demos sent via email, landing page promotional videos, case studies, in-depth educational how-to videos. All these help your audience visualize themselves using your product or service. So 4 times as many customers would rather watch a video about a product than read about it, as we mentioned before. So some examples of the videos in the engage stage for closing leads into customers. Testimonials, super important, right? If you can capture a video of an individual talking about their experience, by the way, which I will ask if possible at the end of this class for us to stay a little bit of time and give me your feedback on what you think the class is about and how we can improve it. It'll also give us an opportunity to capture a testimonial from each of you if possible. So just a pro tip there. If you are on an engagement with a client and you want a testimonial, ask them for feedback at the end and ask them if you can record it on your camera, on your phone, or on Zoom. So a fairly easy way to get a testimonial from the client. I mean, if it's negative, just don't publish it. So you can also do in-depth product demos. So really detailed product demonstrations of the software or the tool that you're trying to sell. Culture videos, they sell viewers on the quality of your service or your team. Personalized videos that explain exactly how your product or service could help their particular business or industry as well. And then in the delight stage, in the delight stage, you can use videos to thank an individual, right? Or in an email welcoming them into the community. An onboarding video to get them set up for success with their new purchase. Building out a library of educational product training videos. So all these different methods will help you really engage and delight your customers as much as possible. So obviously HubSpot's marketing software certification course that they have is all about delighting the customers and going through the process of really engaging them and educating their customers as much as possible once you become a HubSpot customer. So it really includes everything that you need to do to be successful. The idea behind this is to help empower your customers to become successful users of the product or the service. And it also creates well-informed individuals that will go out there and spread the good word about your individual product or service and your brand. So get creative, test various video types, see what works best for you and your business. So over the time for us, we've noticed that the videos that are like talking heads, we call them talking heads video. They're like, it's just me in front of the camera, like talking. Those get the most engagement from anything else. But you can feel free to try however many formats you want to try. We've done doodle videos. We've done explainer videos with cartoons. But yeah, we find that the talking heads work for us, for our service. So it may be the same for you. I think for Arlene, it may be like an adventure video, you know, like whitewater rafting or something. It would probably be the best one.
Yeah, a person falling from a sibling.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That would be excellent. Yeah, consider at least 2 videos for the attack stage, engage, and delight stages. So 2 for each stage of the process. So some tips for getting started with video marketing. So you just got to take the first step, right? Break it down into small, manageable steps, as Mark Twain mentioned here. But the idea, that is it. For the tips for you guys, I would say start simple. Use your iPhone. It has a pretty amazing camera. Or if you have an Android, they have even, I think, better cameras than iPhones if you have an Android. We record in-house. We record everything on an iPhone. And we record in 4K, all our videos. I think the iPhone 8 has 4K capabilities. And then we use these microphones.
7 too. I have an iPhone 7 and it records in 4K.
Yeah, beautiful. We use these babies to record sound.
Wow.
I can send you the links. And then I also have this like light. I mean, the reason you can see my whole face like really bright is because I have a giant light over here for video recording. But I can send you like a list of things that you can use to start video. And if you feel more comfortable recording on video, which we've done with a lot of our clients, we've done like pillar pages and and blog posts, all just by sitting down and recording our client talking about their business. And we've created, what we do then is we take that video recording and we get it transcribed, and then we have an editor go in and clean it up. It's probably the fastest way to put out written content that you can, as a marketer, take advantage of.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. 19. All right, we got like 10 minutes. So I'm going to go on to, nope, that was 9. Is that it? No. All right. That's the only one that I have open. Oh, this is a short one. It's only 162 slides.
What?
Okay, so this is going to get into something that you will need also, which is reaching out to other websites to help your website grow, right? So personally, I look at this as networking, right? Making friends, asking friends to publish content on their website. So like I mentioned earlier, I write for marketing profs. I write blog posts for Miami Ad School. I have a webinar coming up with a sales company as well. But the reasons I do this is to help build up the website, build up my own website and build up my own blog and my how people know me, right? And get to know me. And this is called guest blogging, right? Guest blogging is just getting published in other websites, reputable websites. And this will go into how to do that effectively. And this is also part of the whole repurposing your content, republishing and leveraging the content you already have. Just as I mentioned in the previous presentation, we had a moment there where we had I think Ryan Blanks was the one that he changed all he did was just change the headline, and he wrote it like 4 times in different areas. Something similar, right? You're approaching this with your top performing content. You're leveraging that to get on other websites to help your SEO and come up on more search results. So we're gonna go for 8 minutes in this, and then we're gonna take a break so that we can have time for tomorrow. Okay. So building a guest blogging strategy. Why is guest blogging critical to your piece of your blogging strategy? So guest blogging is writing and publishing an article on someone else's website or blog. So 3 reasons why to guest blog. It expands your audience. It increases the referral traffic to your website, and it helps your your website's search engine optimization. So expanding your audience, increasing the referral traffic. This is an example of just a chart that how we use to track an increase in referral traffic from the views. That's when the guest blog post that was written that included a backlink to the website, and you can see that the referrals stay pretty consistent. So it also helps your website's search engine optimization by creating an inbound link, which is a link that's coming from another website pointing to your own website. Just like the YouTube video that my colleague published, that YouTube video had a link back to his article, right, in the description. that helped his SEO. So in the same way that that link is helping him rank number one, this particular in this particular case, an inbound link from another website is going to help you rank higher on the search engine as well. Domain authority is a prediction of how well your website will rank on the search engines. And that is just a measurement you can use with several tools to find out your domain authority. And I'll send you a link with a list of tools that you can use. But guest blogging was the main tactic that, that my colleague used to get one of the educational website pillar pages to claim the #1 position on Google. So he consistently built out links through guest blogging for this particular page. So he Googled DIY truck camper, right? He's #1 for that position. Then truck camper for the Google ranking, he also comes up for the #1 position. And the page received over 16,000 visits from search engines over the past 12 months. So a very quick increase in his organic search. So we're going to go into how we're going to create a guest blogging strategy. So we're going to go through a few elements. We're going to write for websites that have higher domain authority than ours. We're going to syndicate your educational content as much as possible. Think critically about your link building efforts, provide outstanding service to your guest authored content, and then nurture the relationship with your contact as well. So writing for high domain authority websites. 0 to 20 these are websites that are either fairly new or not active. 21 to 70 websites that have a healthy, dedicated audience and enough domain authority to justify your content creation time aimed for the websites. And then 71 plus, those are generally very top industry blogs. And so 0 to 20, we're going to ignore, and we're going to try to focus on building links from websites that have a domain authority higher than 21 in this case. You can use Moz's Link Explorer to do the research. If you already have it, there is a free version of it as well that'll give you some basic information. I use Alexa Rank and I use Datanyze as well to try to give me an idea of what what these different websites that I can write for can be. So syndicating your educational content. So create a value piece on your of your content on your own website, then repurpose it and repackage it to provide new value and meaning to someone else. Right? A blog post on his website became a repurposed blog post on someone else's website as well. So if you Google how to become a digital nomad, he comes up actually almost at the end of the page. If you can see down here, how to become a digital nomad. But this is the page that he created, which is in essence, it is a pillar page, right? He has his navigation tips here, introduction to working tips, finding a job, getting hired, job training, gear. And he created this with the intent of making sure that that pillar page is shared and used often and linked to. So as we mentioned earlier, the pillar page is just a page that covers a broad topic in depth and is linked to a cluster of related content. He went ahead and created the different sections in this group to include job training, which included more information about how you can get job training. And he included here a link to HubSpot's Academy's digital marketing certification courses, right? And then in addition to that, he added calls to actions, and he added several things that helped him link out to other resources as well. He repurposed and expanded the content from the pillar page into a step-by-step guide. And then what he did is he created a guest blog post series, as well as got featured as on an actual article, and then also got featured on Airstream, which Airstream, if you've ever heard of it, they build those shiny campers. If you ever come to Miami Ad School here in Miami, they actually give classes inside Airstream campers. It's pretty cool. So just a little extra there, right? But he focused on making sure that he wrote becoming a digital nomad in as many places as he could while they're linking back to the guide itself. So think critically about link building efforts. Link to specific pages on your website. Link to educational content. Include your most valuable inbound link near the top of the page. Expand your guest blogging portfolio. So don't only focus on a few sites. Make sure that you're constantly researching new sites to be able to continuously build as well. So a page with multiple quality inbound links will rank higher on a search engine than one with no links. Linking educational content means that if you have other educational content or that you can link together, do so, because that promotes, you have an opportunity to promote a landing page and vice versa. Include your most valuable inbound link near the top of the page. Just make sure that, so here in the guest blog post, right, promoting content, developing a content marketing strategy 202, Justin Champion wrote it here. He made sure that his content here, this particular piece of content was promoted really high up in his blog post to make sure that it gives as much authority as possible to that post. Anchor text, super important. It's actually the actual text of a link to a website page itself. So this is anchor text. BuzzSumo leads to this particular guest blog post on another website, right? This is anchor text as well over here, website authority. So the anchor text, you want to try to get as much of a keyword that you're trying to rank for, or some form of related word in the description of that link on your website as well. So link to other relevant content on your website. So website you're writing the guest blog post as well. So if there are other relevant contexts on that website, make sure that you do help them by creating links as well in that blog post. And then expanding your guest blogging portfolio. The first inbound link you receive from a website will be the most valuable for your site from an SEO's perspective. So whatever that first link is, make sure that it's fantastic. So next, in providing outstanding service to your guest authored content, you have to engage with people in the comments, engage with people on social media. Some of these websites actually have the capability for people to leave comments on your blog. Make sure that you go back and answer them if they're asking you a question. Make sure that you're being human. You're being somebody that's attempting to engage with them as much as possible. And also on social media, because on Marketing Profs tweets out whenever there's whenever you write for them, and they always get engagement. Someone's going to say something. Sometimes it's negative, but I mean, whatever. You just handle it with the best that you can, with care, and move on from it. But just make sure that that you answer fairly quickly to the social media engagement as well. So yeah, if a reader is going to take the time to engage with you, make sure you do the same. And then it's possible you'll get people to challenge your content, as I mentioned. Just make sure that you are always professional when engaging with others online. Engaging with them on social media. So once again, if they're going to take the time to engage with you, make sure that you do engage back. Not everyone's going to tag you. Instead, you can find the content by doing research or search on that social channel for your content itself. And if someone doesn't tag you, best practice is to go in there and respond anyways, right? Even if they don't tag you. Just make sure to keep it human. And then nurture the relationship with your contact. People do business with people they know, like, trust, and value. So if you want to continue that relationship, it's our job to really be as engaged as possible. So once again, creating a guest blogging strategy. We're going to write for websites that have higher domain authority, syndicate our educational content, think critically about your link building efforts, provide outstanding service to your guest authored content, and then nurture relationships with your contacts. With that, we are almost halfway done with this one. And we're going to take a 5-minute break for water or snacks, carrots, cookies, whatever you want.
Thank you.
You think you can do this? You guys are confident you want to start guest blog posting? Yes?
Yes.
Sure.
You gotta do it.
Claro.
It'll help you. It'll help you.
Yeah.
Y así uno puede ver qué piensa la gente que no te conoce.
We're going to learn how to find them next. So I'm going to put 5 minutes on the timer. Start.
Yeah, that's an important part. How do we find them?
Yes. All right. I can't believe time flies. Time flies. All right. Okay, cool. So we are going to go help our, what are we doing? Help ourselves find guest blogging opportunities. So we have to define our niche, find relevant websites that allow guest authors, do research on Twitter, research websites that your buyer personas might visit often, and then prioritize outreach to websites based on domain authority. So anybody, for most of you are in the, well, 3 of you are in the marketing space. So marketing profs is awesome, but it takes like 90 days for approval. So you write something, you submit it, and just forget about it. You'll find a surprise in 90 days, like, oh, you got approved. But they're pretty good. They have a good process. So defining your niche. Why write for relevant websites? Because it ensures you'll reach your target audience that you want to get in front of. And 2, building links from external websites to your website will be more valuable if they're related to your website as well. That's why we focus on things like marketing profs and different sites, right? So an example, financial planning, your market, home improvement, their website, financial planning tips for upcoming home renovation is your article, right? Make sure that it's related somehow there. And more relevant, the more relevant your website is to the website you want to write for, the better from an SEO perspective. So next, find relevant websites that allow guest authors. Do research on Google. Research potential influencers as well. Many influencers that I see on Instagram have a blog. If there's an opportunity to write for that influencer on their blog, or maybe do a Instagram live, or maybe create some post with that individual, then do so as much as you can. So look for, whatever your market is, plus the keyword guest post. So if you're in marketing, type in marketing guest post, and you should be able to come up, right? Or you can look for your market and contributing writer, your market and submit content. All these different keywords will help you find opportunities to write on Google, right? Your market and whatever writers wanted, financial writers wanted, marketing writers wanted, sales writers wanted. So this is an example of financial planning guest posts, right? You can write for guest posts and articles for Finance Gourmet, guest posts for Health Financial. Typically, by clicking through to these pages, you'll find the guidelines and the submission guidelines for each of these, and you'll be able to go in and submit on there as well. Then you'll also find some influential blogs, perhaps, or really like some lists that you can find even more websites that may be able to accept your particular financial or your particular guest post as well. Research potential influencers, right? If you know somebody, type their name into Google and see. They may have a blog, and you'll want to submit for that blog itself there. Do research on Twitter. You can, just by searching a hashtag, whatever it is that your niche is, you can find correlated groupings, and then you can identify individuals or even blogs that are constantly writing about your particular niche. Research websites that your buyer personas may visit. It's just simply doing a Google search where you think they live, and finding those websites. Then prioritize outreach to the websites based on domain authority. So you can use Moz's tool to give you an idea of what domain authority is, and then you can start reaching out. Remember to stick to those that have higher domain authority, 21 to 70, and also top industry websites that you can. Forbes has like a 92 or something domain authority. So if you can get on Forbes, that would be fantastic. It's a possibility. So defining or finding guest blog opportunities, define your niche, find relevant websites that allow guest posting, do some research on Twitter, research websites that your buyer personas might visit often, and then prioritize your outreach to websites based on domain authority. So that is how we can find more guest blogging opportunities. Next, how to secure a guest blogging spot. So the best way to approach the process is to consider it as if you're building a relationship with an individual. Do research on companies you want to write for, engage with companies you want to write for, take the time to craft your pitch, and send a personalized email, and then always be seeking for new opportunities. So doing research, you can research using LinkedIn. It can be a really helpful way to learn more about the company that you want to, and the roles that you want to talk to. So engage with companies you want to write for. You can engage with them on Twitter, Instagram, whatever way that you can look for to engage with them, right? But just make sure that you are careful when crafting your social post, and make sure that you tag them in any which way you want them to interact with. So tagging your profile on social media gets you in their notification feed, and it might make it easier for them to respond to you as well. Right? In this case, you can see how they responded to Justin over here. So instead of just saying a great post, tell them why you liked it. Ideally, read it. Read the post and tell them what exactly you liked about it. It'll go a long way, right? They'll understand that they care. And this is just an example. Hi, your post was helpful read. I particularly found your point on blah 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 to be helpful. I'll give you this as well. This template, so you guys can customize it to wherever you want. But it's pretty simple. We can use this to really get a response, right? There's Voila Norbert to input a person's name and company website to find their email information. So if you want to be a little bit more aggressive, I don't know if you are in sales or ever done sales, but yeah, you can email them directly using Voila Norbert. You can find their email based on their company. And then just email them the message directly, one-to-one. So contact first name, contact last name, plus whatever @ followed by a company's website URL and the email address. That's the information that you're going to type in. And you'll see Kyle Jepson at HubSpot.com. If you type that into Google, the person's first name, last name, the name, the domain URL of the website, and then email, you may find that people will post or will have their email listed somewhere and find their email that way. So it's not a real secret, right? But I'm sure my email's somewhere out there.
That's a hacker pro tip.
Hacker pro tip. You can try it. I know you're tempted to try it on yourself right now. You're like, oh, that's out.
Now I'm gonna look for myself.
Yeah. Don't go overboard and become a pest. All right. Just, be tactful as much as you can. Take time to craft your pitch. When preparing a guest post pitch, know the website author guidelines. Many of them have it published. Make sure your topic offers a unique value, and consider offering ideas that you can repurpose from. So, yeah, like I said, most of them have a list of guidelines that you can use. You can type in HubSpot guest post blog guidelines, and they'll give you the guidelines. There's a page dedicated to it. A unique value, right? High quality blogs love content that is hot right now. So you can review the most popular posts on their blog, and then you can use a tool like Ahrefs or anything that can list a blog's top performing content to find out what their top performing posts are and get ideas from there. Then consider offering ideas that you can repurpose from your own content, right? So if you put an effort into creating great content on your website, you'll then have an opportunity to recycle it on someone else's website as well. Send a personalized email. So this is a template that we can, that I'll share with you, right, at the presentation. But it's pretty simple, letting them know you're a fan of them and you're reaching out for a certain reason, and then you have these 2 ideas for a blog post, and then you can also offer them to write based on their popular blog topics, based on the research that you did on there as well. And always be seeking new opportunities. So you need to set an ongoing guest blogging quota and stick to an outreach schedule to make it happen. Obviously, you want to do this for yourself, but also, offer it as a service for your clients as well. You can considerably take your client to a much bigger level by doing this, and make them more money because they're coming up on search results as well. So once again, securing a guest blogging opportunity, you got to do your research on companies you want to write for, engage with companies you want to write for, take the time to craft your pitch, send a personalized email, and always seek new opportunities. And how to write a guest blog author bio, because you're going to have to write something about yourself, and you're going to have to, as part of your submission, most websites and most blogs will require you to give them, 1 to 3 lines about your experience and a little picture of yourself. So make sure you have a little picture of yourself somewhere that's professionally taken, or they're taken in good lighting and is ready for submission before you submit. So elevator pitch. 30-second memorable description of what you do and or what you sell. So things to consider: follow the instructions given to you by your contact, and 2, research the format for other guest blog authors. So it's possible that the site you're writing for will offer guidelines for your author bio. And then research the format for other guest blog authors. So take a look at what it looks like on other sites, right? On either HubSpot or another site. I mean, just come up with an idea for writing something similar to what you see here. But the guest author bio best practices: you gotta tell them about yourself. Choose a high resolution photo of yourself. Keep it short and concise. Explain what you do in the third person. Include an element of validation. Provide something interesting or authentic about yourself. Offer social media channels where readers can engage with you, and include at least 1 inbound link to your website as well. So example, Justin Champion. So that's about himself. Choosing a high resolution image. This looks grainy, so this is a terrible idea. But keeping short and concise, right? It's 75 words and 488 characters. Explain what you do in the third person. So he's talking about himself, right? Justin in the third person. It may sound weird when you talk about it. Like if I start talking about, oh, Rogelio does this, or Rogelio does that, it's awkward if you talk about it. But written, it looks much better, right? People are reading through it on there. Include element of validation. So you can talk about your experience or what you're great at as well. providing something of interesting that's authentic. He has a decade of experience in his current role, and he's dedicated to educating and inspiring the world how to become better storytellers. Right? Offer social media channels. Boom, boom. There, LinkedIn, and then include at least one inbound link to your website, which you saw right here, HubSpot Academy, and right here, Wild We Wander. All right. So when choosing bio links, link to your website at a minimum, link to your homepage. However, you could link to a specific site page if it's educational and helpful and relevant to that particular site. And don't link to a landing page. Doing so could result in a site removing your link altogether, right? Like you're trying to sell way too fast. Typically, landing pages are meant to convert individuals. So an example of it, right? Linking to his own website there. In the event you're writing for a site that won't allow you to link back to your website, don't consider this a loss, right? It's an opportunity to really like just showcase your writing, and you can just move forward with it as well. So guest author best practices right here. Once again, I will not repeat them. I will just leave them up here because this is the end of today's presentation. Questions, concerns, googly eyes. You guys look a little bit. Any questions? Shocked? Lots of information?
Yeah.
And
Plenty
tomorrow,
of information.
yes. And tomorrow you should get excited because tomorrow we're gonna go into, what was that? Yeah, we're gonna go into how to promote your content and then measuring and analyzing the content.
Like those.
Yes.
The first part of today was critical for me.
Yes. It's gonna be.
No, I like it.
Yeah. So those.
I'm glad for you.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's
but
a lot. Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. No. It's
Maybe I can start a blog.
I mean, a travel blog. I right now when you're like when you have, I think you have some time, so
Yeah.
you could definitely pump out a lot of content.
I have
Yeah.
a lot of content.
Yeah, there's a lot of content on that website. Your
That-
audit is going to be fantastic. Yeah.
There's too much to write.
I was
I can do it.
You were saying?
I was surfing today at stars.com.
Okay, cool. Are you going to hire somebody? Or?
What? I'm losing.
Are you going to hire somebody?
I'm just, surfing, getting to know the services that they provide, and it looks interesting. It looks like they have already a ton of information available.
Yeah.
And as I think I mentioned before, the worst part for me is to write. Like, I don't know how to get inspired. Sure. Not even for a friend. Like, I can't write a letter. I can't. That's
okay.
Not.
Yeah.
So preparing content for clients, sometimes it's really stressful for me, and
sure.
I need to see if they have solutions on Spanish as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks good.
Good. Yeah. I mean, check it out. It's like, I know, like, I realize now we don't use yours for Spanish. We have somebody like that we go to do Spanish work. They're freelancers that we found. I mean, I'm pretty sure in Spanish, you could probably find some freelancers in Dominican Republic some college students.
Yeah, but the thing is to find someone that can write in a subtle way selling without selling.
Yeah.
And choosing the right words. Probably, I mean, in my mind, I know that the best option would be someone like from communication, like reporter, news
A
reporter.
copywriter.
Yeah, but the copywriter is just someone that's a profession that is starting to get to know. Like, it's not common to find a lot of people, and when you find someone, sometimes they charge a lot because they do a huge work. I mean, so, but yeah.
I can write, but I have to order my ideas to begin.
Definitely.
But maybe
en Miami Art School.
¿Eh?
La clase que ahora mismo en Miami Art School.
Ah, sí, tiene que cogerla.
Para que aprenda ahí palabra dominguera.
Palabra dominguera. Bueno.
You learn how to write.
Yeah, they have a class coming up, right? Narrative structure, is it not? I don't remember. I have a list somewhere.
And wordsmithing.
Oh yeah, wordsmithing.
But
I learned how to write when I was studying in Argentina. I have to write a script.
Nice.
Me tocó escribir unos cuantos.
Yeah.
Pero era ficción.
Yeah.
Eso mismo yo estaba pensando que la gente que estudió cine, que saben escribir guiones, tienen que ser muy buenos.
Yo, o sea, por eso es que yo te digo que yo puedo escribir, pero el problema es que tengo que como que ordenar todo mi mundo de traveling, cosas que he hecho. Pero material sí tengo. De fotos, de video, de lo que viví, de experiencias, sí. Pero hay que encontrar el tiempo.
Yeah, el tiempo. Planning is important. I mean, I take most of my time when I write. I take it planning. So if you give me 30 minutes, I'll plan for like 20, and then I'll write for 10.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah, because I can write pretty fast, but the planning takes me a while to think through, for sure. Okay, so we're ready for tomorrow. We'll have office hours tomorrow too, if you guys want to be there. I had to move it down 30 minutes, so it'll be like at 4:30 tomorrow, which will be, I think, 3:30. No, 4:30, 3:30 for Virginia.
Sí.
Okay.
So I'll be there if you guys need me. And that's it. Any questions? Any like, you guys are good? How was your I forgot to ask earlier today. How are your outlines? How do you feel with the outlines? Good?
Good. Headlines. Nothing more than that. Headlines.
Outlines.
Sí, yo igual, headlines, pues, pero.
Bueno, yo hice como, le puse los títulos y pensé en cómo o sea, puse en la planilla cómo voy a linkear cada uno a otro. O sea, como, eso es lo que tengo hecho.
Good.
Esta noche voy a escribir un poquito.
Nice. Good. I want to see the blogs. I want to see the websites start getting together in the next few months.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I will see you all tomorrow, and we'll have a good night.
Bye, you too.
Bye.
You too. Bye, guys.